This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland.
With pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring. From the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing, Ireland is there for you and me.
Connemara, this is just where I can get away from it all.
When you go through the hills of Connemara, you see the ancient calendars, you see the ceremonial side.
I love windsurfing out in Connemara, just because the clean wind coming off the Atlantic.
It was quite unbelievable to think in the middle of Connemara they were growing bananas 130 years ago.
Sunshine in Connemara, people don't believe it, do they?
I love Clifden, I absolutely love it. It's a fantastic place to stay.
It's something that I look forward to every year, is coming over to Connemara, and especially the Clifden show.
And the Connemara pony is just that much more special than most.
We just love it, and we like the people.
I'm Paul Wright and welcome to the 10th programme of On Your Bike, the series which celebrates those people and places we encounter on our cycle odyssey along Ireland's western seaboard. In our last programme we cycled from Galway City to Castla in the heart of Connemara. Just a few miles down the road from Castla is a celebrated heritage site. Here's a taste of how my visit to it went. I'm just after arriving off the bicycle into a beautiful place here. First of all, can you introduce yourself to our listeners and just tell them where exactly we are situated at the moment?
It's Paul. Tatu and Shaw Connemara. Tatu it's Pearse. So Pearse's cottage here in Rosmuc. A small historical cottage, once owned by Rosmuc Village. I'm sure you're familiar with him.
Pádraig Pearse.
Pádraig Pearse, yeah. As well as him owning this cottage here in Rosmuc, he also owned St Enda's in Dublin, St Enda's Park in Rathfarnham there. So this was his summer home. So only came here kind of during the summertime and holiday periods from his school in Dublin, St Enda's. Used to bring his sister and sisters and mother and brother down here as well, you know, during the summertime as a break. Used to bring the boys from St Enda's down as well during the summertime to learn Irish. So it's understood that this site here was the first Irish college as well in Connemara, the start of it, you know. And as we all know that they're quite a business at the moment in the Connemara regions. And
this was the very first one, Angela, here on Shaw.
Yeah, it's understood that it was from his ideas that it's what founded the Irish colleges in the region. Yeah, so it's that these classes were ongoing here. So during the day they'd have Irish classes, and in the evening time go off with the local people and see that the Irish was still in use in the area. You know, the traditions were very strong. So your Irish dancing, you know, your Shanno singing and dancing, which is still very strong in Rosmuc region today. And also, you know, you had people going on the bog and, you know, sowing vegetables and potatoes and things like that. So so there was the rich Irish tradition and rich language which Patrick loved about the area. So it's understood that it was here that began, yeah.
And is it true as well that I was talking with a person down the road there, a farmer, and he was saying to me, Vishay Kaint Dom, McGregor Bristol there, you know, coming in, that he actually wrote some famous speeches as well here, am I right?
Yeah, he did write some famous speeches here. He wrote a famous oration that was given at the gravesite of O'Donovan Rossa, Jeremiah O'Donovan Rossa. He was a Fenian that was exiled to America in the 1800s. And after his death was brought back to be buried in Glasnevin Cemetery. So it's understood as well that he actually drafted the Irish Proclamation here. So it's a lovely bit of the history for the house, and the local people are very, very proud of that. Now we have.
So this is a real epicentre of Irish history.
It is, yeah, it is. You know, and as well as speeches being written here, he also wrote a lot of stories, short stories, poems, plays. Now they say that he got a lot of inspiration as well from the lake, which the house is kind of overlooking, and it's called Loch Ellerach, and it means something beautiful in Irish. So it is a nice bit of history really for the area to have all these you know, historical things written, or at least drafted, you know, in the house here.
questions, Angela, would you be asked? Now, I mean, you're at the coalface, the interface here, dealing with people day in, day out as they come in to visit the cottage. What kind of questions would they be asking you?
I get a lot of silly questions. Well, I suppose no question is silly, but we actually had a young girl in here one day and asked where Patrick was. So he kind of looked at her blankly and just said, Patrick. And she said, yeah, Patrick, he owns this house, doesn't he? And he said, yeah, Patrick owns it. Yeah, he's just out for lunch at the moment, but he'll be back later, you know.
He was taken away there a while back.
Yeah, you know.
Did you ever read up a thing about 1916?
I suppose she was maybe about 14 or 15, so maybe they hadn't come.
Was she Irish, was she?
She was Irish, yeah, she was.
Oh, God, that's... Whoa, Irish education system is not something... But
that's what made it more funny, you know, the fact that she was Irish, it was funny.
Angela, you were saying to me as well, even just the other day, you were saying you had a woman on her bicycle as well.
Yeah.
You saw me coming in the bicycle there and said, oh God, I had a woman the other day coming in. Where was she from now and what age was she? Really remarkable woman as well, you were saying.
Yeah, she was very, very nice. She was about 60, I would say, you know, and she was cycling around. She was from Holland and she was cycling around Connemara on her own. I spoke to her there for a few minutes. It was a lovely sunny day, so I went out speaking to her. And she had a little book she showed me that it was something that had like 12 routes of Ireland or something like that. So Connemara was one of those. And she said she always wanted to visit Connemara. She never got the chance before. And she said she'd rather do it cycling than travelling in the car. Yeah, so...
Fantastic. Well, fair juice to her. And in her 60s, that's what you call get out there, proactive approach to life.
Yeah, exactly. And she was very, you know, very fit and youthful looking, you know, so... But she was great. She was lovely. Very nice, yeah.
And after my visit to Chalk-on-Fearsig, I next hopped on my bike to continue my cycle Odyssey.
With the pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring. From the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing, Ireland is there for you and me.
We're in Clifden Town Hostel in Clifden. I'm just after having a beautiful meal, and there was a gentleman at the table beside me here. We got talking, and first of all, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners and just tell us why you're here in Clifden today in particular?
We come to Clifden today particularly over the Connemara horse, which is a horse of great denote. It's an annual pilgrimage, you could say. It's a great chance to see what's happening in the market, and it's a great monitor of the market. You meet people who are definitely interested in the Connemara breed, which is a very special breed of animal, and you get every chance in the world to see what's going on, in the wider market, because there are people that follow this horse from all over the world. My name is Darragh Dobson, living in County Clare. And as you probably know, it's a very fine county. There are people there who have a great interest in the Connemara horse, along with a lot of other things like hurling. But as I say, we make the pilgrimage every year up here to Connemara, to the home of the Connemara horse, Clifden.
And Clifden, not only the capital of Connemara, but also the home of the renowned home of the Connemara horse. And that's just, Darragh, for somebody like for somebody like myself who wouldn't be an expert in things horsey, what is the significance of the Connemara horse, the Connemara pony? Why are they so renowned throughout the world?
I would honestly say it's to do with the breeding of the horse. Like, it's crossed with the Arab horse, which some people would say is tied back to the Armadas, the time some of the stallions got off with the Spanish armies and came in, and they were crossbred. So you also have a Welsh crossbreed in it, right back to Cannonball. Cannonball would be right back at the very start of the history of that particular horse. Stallion, and really you could trace it. It's traceable, which is one fantastic thing about the Connemara. So any Connemara horse that you breed now, you will have to have it registered and microchipped. So it's all very traceable. There's huge traceability about the Connemara horse.
So in other words, the lineage, there's massive efforts to keep the lineage as pure as possible.
Correct.
In other words, if you're buying something, you have to check out that this is the genuine article.
That is correct, yeah. So, as I say, it's the traceability of it, and every animal is microchipped and is booked. So, that's a good aspect of the horse breeding industry.
Right. No, that's the good aspect, but the reality as well, as you know and I know, and anyone in the horse, well, certainly I've heard anyway, there's plenty of our blackguards out there as well now. I mean, what are the tricks of the trade to make sure that when you're buying a horse, you're buying the real thing, that you're not being duped?
Well, to investigate the horse, you must look at the horse very carefully. The structure of the horse, the bone structure is huge with the horse, like the withers, which is the high shoulder, the Arab neck that are available, the cannons, the legs, the short back, the muzzle of the horse, the nose, the structure of the head. Once you see that in the breed, it's instantly recognisable for anyone in the know. Basically, it is, yeah.
And for yourself, Dara, I mean, you've been involved in horses all your life. I mean, what is it about the Connemara's in particular that you love, that you make the annual pilgrimage here to Clifden every year for the Connemara Pony Show and get into the whole spirit of it?
Well, I suppose really they're a feisty little horse, I mean, they're up to 14 hands too, which is, it's not small, it's not big, it's still a fine animal at 14.2. If you were down there today, you could see them jumping 1.5 metres without any problem, so they're quite capable of jumping. They're quite capable of doing a lot of things to car them, to race them, They have a lot of applications. Back in time, they were very hard workers, they were used for hard work. That would be the history of it,
And Dara, it's been pointed out to me by numerous commentators and experts in the Connemara pony that, it's not just Ireland, there's a massive foreign market as well for these ponies.
Yes, indeed, the French market is huge, the American market is huge, Canada, they're now worldwide. It is a society now, and they're highly sought after, particularly in the jumping arena. Yeah, the crossbreeding now, they're watching that very closely for jumping.
Yeah. Why is that? Why are they such good jumpers, and why are they sought after for the jump?
Little animal, you see, they're quite to look at them. You've got to watch them jumping just to see what they're made of. The power is there, and it has been recognised now, and people have come all the way, and it has moved global. It's really
want to get the winner, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely, everybody wants to have the best, but everybody thinks to have the best, I suppose. That's the way it is.
What's going to be happening tomorrow, Saturday, in the remainder of the fair, of the Pony Week here in Clifden, Dara?
Tomorrow, Saturday, is the sales, and Sunday are the sales. So they open at 11 a.m, and you'll have all ages of horses in it. So there's a great opportunity for those that want to purchase a horse, or indeed sell a horse, as the case may be.
At 1,500 I have, 1,600 now, 1,600 available.
Just come down now to a really exciting place here now. It's the Clifden Connemara Show Week. There's sales going on. Talking with a good man here now. Can you just tell our listeners, introduce yourself first of all, just tell our listeners what's going on here now today?
Well, I am Martin Jordan. They're just selling horses here. Actually, it's only the one place you can really sell a Connemara pony.
Really, Martin?
That's all. Right, did you get a right price for them?
And how are the prices going this year?
Oh, they're not bad. The Connemara's isn't bad now. No, in general, they're not bad. They're down a lot to what they used to be.
I mean, halved in price. That's what's been commented on me over the week.
But they were actually too dear. We're going too dear always.
It was a bit like everything else in Ireland.
Everything else in Ireland. They're coming back to a reasonable price.
A realistic price, a pragmatic
price. People isn't getting used to it yet, but they will.
They have no choice anyway.
No choice. Ponies got twice the price of the world.
And Martin, for yourself now, without, telling any state secrets or anything, what are you looking for? Are you buying or selling today yourself?
No, I'm just looking now because I have Connemara's myself. I'm just looking to see what prices would they go.
Just see the lie of the market?
Yeah, just the lie of the market. Just came down to see it, actually.
And Martin, for yourself, what is it about Connemara ponies that you've come all the way from Sligo? The place is strong. There's hundreds of people here today now, coming from all over. What is it about this pony that's so special?
Well, they're what you call the original pony of Ireland, the Connemara's. The other ponies is just not bred right. If you breed these right, you have something to stand behind when you walk out with your pony. You have a book for them, and every man will look for that book to see the breeding. And if you have the breeding, you have a pony.
So the breeding is absolutely fundamental.
The breeding is the answer to the question. If you breed right, you'll have something.
And when you're going according to the breeding, what kind of breeding are you looking for now? What kind of a sire lineage would be the important ones now?
You'd be trying to look for a sire, great conformation, great moving pony. You'd go away and look at them. And a bit of jumping in them. It suit every kind of a man then. But the proper Connemara will stand out, you know. To be just hard to explain it. You'd know when you'd look what you're looking for.
You can't describe it, but you know it when you see it.
You can't describe it like you'd know what you'd see in a Connemara.
It's a sixth sense, is it?
It is. You have to have a love for them before you'd. But you wouldn't go away with a two-up stallion that you wouldn't see before. No, you'd go and look at them, like see what you'd be always changing to see what it suits your pony better. Might make the wrong mistakes and you might make the right ones.
Hopefully
when
the
you
right.
Come here, you'll know.
You'll find out quick enough
if you have the wrong mistake made.
1,007 now, round the ring. At 1,007. Any further interest at 1,700 last time? Hold on. 1,007. Hold on.
We'll cycle boreens, cycle highways, meet friendly kind folk down every byway to tell us stories of their own lives, living in the beauty of this country.
I've just arrived off the bicycle now and I've arrived into a great place here in the heart of Connemara. First of all, I'm talking with a good man. Would you introduce yourself to our listeners and just tell them where exactly we're situated at the moment?
Well, Martin Walsh is my name, and where you are here at the moment, you're in the homestead of Dan O'Hara. And basically what we have here, we have a 20-minute audio-visual which introduces you to the whole history and heritage of the area, from prehistoric times right up to the foundation of the state. We have the crannogs here, which are prehistoric lake dwellings, Neolithic tombs, and we have archaeological sites as well. And we had two archaeological digs here in 94 and 96, commissioned by the local archaeologist here, Michael Gibbons. And what we found there was a 5,000-year-old ceremonial site and a 3,500-year-old stone coffin. This has been very interesting for visitors coming here. Basically, when you come in here, be it come by a bike, a horse or a car, we have the accommodation if you want to stay overnight. We're now 4-star accommodation as well, approved by Falch Ireland in the past few months. We take you then up on a tractor-drawn carriage. We take you to a height of 600 feet or 200 metres. And when you get up there, we stop the carriage, and basically you're looking out over the whole of Connemara. You're looking down on Roundstone right out to the Atlantic, 110 freshwater lakes. We also do some cutting of the peat, of the turf there for you as well. Then we take you to the home of the legendary Dan O'Hara. And Dan O'Hara lived here in the 1840s. And back then he put glass in his windows, and he increased the size of them, and the landlord doubled his rent. This was well known in the past as the window tax. The Irish, of course, called it daylight robbery. Now, when he failed to pay this exorbitant rent, this little cottage then became the scene of an eviction. The police arrived, they put the family outside the door, they set fire to the roof, and they pushed in some of the walls with a battering ram. Now, Dan O'Hara then left here with his wife and 7 children, and he sailed for New York. His wife died on the journey, and 3 of his children died. When he arrived in America, he wouldn't have a good knowledge of any of the English language, because the people living here at that time were speaking in their native tongue. Dan O'Hara's 4 remaining children, then 2 boys and 2 girls, were fostered out to different families in New York, and the only job he could secure was selling matches on the streets there. He died within a few years, but he became a legend. And not only is the song telling the story of Dan O'Hara, but it's also replicating 65,000 stories, because that's the amount of people that were evicted in the west of Ireland between 1845 and 1852. And the song then tells the story. There's 5 verses to the song of Dan O'Hara. And when you hear the 5 verses, you have heard the whole factual story. One verse would go like, "But the landlord came, and he laid my old home low. My poor old wife and I was sadly parted. We were scattered far and wide, and my children starved and died. So it's here I am today, you're broken-hearted. A cush le gal McCree, won't you buy a box from me? And you'll have the prayers of Dan from Connemara. I'll sell them cheap and low. Buy a box before you go. From the broken-hearted farmer Dan O'Hara." So now, Paul, you'll have to buy a box before you go, and it brings you good luck.
Surely will. And God, you're a good singer as well. There's no doubt about it. Fair juice to you. Wow. I'd say that when people come and they hear you singing the song and everything, they must love it.
I do the song in the cottage on each tour. We come to the history and then we sing a verse of the song. And that has attracted people from all over the world, because when the people come here now with their guides, they're coming for the last 17 years, they're coming back for this. They want the real history, they want the real culture, and we give them that in the cottage.
Martin, you're just offering me a gift here now. Just tell the listeners what you're actually offering me at the moment now. I don't know whether this is within my job remit, but anyway.
Well, what I'm giving you is a very old Celtic drink called Ishkebaha. And
the water of life. There's three Italian women just looking here now, so they'll act as witnesses now to me. Yeah.
And the reason it was called water of life was in the past, when a person died here. Well, how did they know the person was really dead? There was no doctors. But there was a man in the area that came to the house and he examined the presumed dead person. And towards the end of the examination, he took out a bottle and he poured this great Ishkebaha over the dead person's face. He gave them a good dash of it around the nose and the mouth. And then he waited for 2 minutes. And if there was no reaction to that in 2 minutes, he certified that person well and truly out of touch with this world. So then the relatives were told they could bury him. Now he was dead. But the reason this was called the water of life, or Ishkebaha, is 9 times out of 10. Now that's a great result. 9 times out of 10, when this was poured over the presumed dead person's face, there was an immediate reaction. And the dead person started licking their lips again.
Are you for real?
Yeah, that's the way it was. And this was happening here in Ireland thousands of years ago. Celtic times, there was men coming to houses all over Ireland, pouring this great water over dead people's faces, and they were jumping up all over the place. And when you think about it, sometimes I sit down here and I think about this, and I say, oh, this was happening in Ireland over 2,000 years ago. And then there was a man out in the Middle East 2,000 years ago, and he rose 2 or 3 from the dead, and he got into all the Bibles and books around the world. And 2,000 years ago, we got into no book at all. We were shortchanged, really, but what harm? Or else, you could say we had very, very poor PR in those days.
Martin, just as Marvin, you touched on earlier on about the poaching. How popular would poaching making have been? Obviously, most of it was illegal, but how prevalent would it have been in the area in times gone by?
Oh, very prevalent in the area in times gone by. It's not been made like it was in those days at all. This was the only drink they had, and the Ishkebaha, or the poaching, is banned since 1661. That is the year it was banned. It declared illegal. It's illegal ever since, and it's illegal today. But in places here in the mountains in Connemara, they're still making it. honoured men who used the pen have wrote your praises high. That sweet poteen from Ireland's green, distilled from wheat and rye. Throw away your pills, it'll cure all ills, be you Christian, pagan or Jew. Take off your coat and grease your throat with the rare old Mountain Dew. So this is the Mountain Dew. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, we're going back to Celtic times when they used to pour it over the presumed dead people's faces. And, you know, we're not too far away when you hear the song about Finnegan's Wake. You know, what happened to Finnegan? They were going to bury him only for the barrel of whiskey or porter fell over his face, and then he got up and he thought it was an awful waste of good stuff. So
and he took his shillelagh and he said, "Give me a bit more."
That's true, yeah.
Well, I think on that jolly note, I think I better down this anyway.
Well, yeah. When you're down that,
forever hold my tongue.
You're supposed to leave nothing in the glass. You say, you're supposed to raise your glass high and say, "Here's to all who wish us well, and those who don't can go to hell." And then if you don't finish everything in the glass, it's a bad omen. So if it's raining tomorrow, Paul, don't blame me.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to let you down. That much I can guarantee you. Ooh, there's a kick to that now. There's a good kick to that now.
Well, I reckon if you go to bed at night and you took a glass of that hot water and 2.5 spoons of honey, mix them together with a bit of lemon. But you must be in the bed, and if you have a wife, maybe she could take you to the bed to you. And drink that going to bed at night, and you have a cold, you get up in the morning, the cold is gone. Well, I had a group here one day, and a few of them had a glass of that, and the next thing the great song broke out, and it went like, "Oh, maybe someday I'll go back to Ireland, if it's only at the closing of my day, and to sit beside a turf fire in a cabin, and watch the sun go down on Galway Bay."
This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland.
With pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring, from the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing. Ireland is there for you and me, from Mount Escall to Inishowen, from Dalkey Island to Inishboffin, from Carrontool to Lugnaquilla. Ireland is there to ramble free. We'll climb the mountains, swim the rivers, surf the high tide up near Bundoran, set our mainsail towards the Shannon, or see the hookers race off Spittle Shore. On Blasket Island we'll walk the white strand and see where Peg drew her inspiration. Near Ennis Diamond we'll stand on high rocks, those proud and majestic cliffs of Moher. We'll climb the steps of Skellig Michael, gaze with wonder as dolphins play, where holy true men knelt in obedience to feel the wind as prayers were said each day. From holy places to friendly faces, with glasses clinking and ballads singing.